readers,
reviewers,
list makers.
lend us your ears. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about books we intend to read in 2023.
These
So
are
book
anticipated releases, aren't they, in 2023 that we are so excited for. So all of these books will be coming out next year. So, you know, go to your nearest bookstore, go to the Broken Binding, pre-order them, and then we'll get even more better books
Exactly.
each year, won't
it's
we?
crazy how many books there's going to be next year that we're looking forward to.
Yeah, and
it's
I'm
also
sure
crazy.
hundreds have slipped below the radar as well.
And it's also crazy that it's nearly 2023.
It's been a mad year. But let's get on to our video then, talking about anticipated releases for 2023.
Let's do it. And the first one up, we have Of War and Ruin by Ryan Cahill, and that is out on, I believe, January the 16th.
January the 19th, I believe.
Sorry.
It's okay.
So this is the third installment of The Bound and the Broken by Ryan Cahill. This is an epic fantasy series, which is indie published, self-published. If you have any suspicions or doubts about the quality of indie published fantasy, read this series. Hopefully it proves you wrong, because I've thoroughly enjoyed it so far. I've read one of the novellas, which is called The Fool, and then two of the books, book 1 and book 2.
And
I need to read the next
5-book series, isn't it? And I think Ryan Cahill is writing the book 4 at the moment, and it's a big beast of a book. So go check him out on Twitter, because you will see his updates there. The next book on our list coming out on the same day, January the 19th, is God Killer by Hannah Kaner. Now I'm hearing some amazing reviews about this, especially from Nils from Book Reviews It, and also from Elodie Harper, I believe, said that she loved reading God Killer. And it is about, well, the title gives it away, really. It's about a character who kills gods for a living, but then she encounters a god who tells white lies, and she cannot kill that god / goddess. So yeah, it's gonna be really exciting. The cover looks amazing as well, and we just need some more fantasy, don't we? So I'm looking forward to this, and the premise sounds very interesting. I feel hooked already. Very
nice. And then we have Tyranny of Faith by Richard Swan, the second installment, the sequel to his The Justice of Kings debut, which came out in 2022, and that is out on February the 14th, I think.
Yes,
it
is.
So yeah, really looking forward to reading that. I thoroughly enjoyed The Justice of Kings. You're going to be reading it soon.
Yes.
We're both going to read The Tyranny of Faith, and I believe it's going to be a trilogy. Richard Swan is a very stripped back but efficient writer, and I thought that the ideas he was engaged with are very, very unique, because it's fantasy, but he is a barrister or something to do with law in real life, and so he really brought that lens to the fantasy genre. And so we're following someone called an Emperor's Justice, called Sir Conrad von Volt. Great name. Great name.
Great covers as well. It's another Orbit book. And I mean, I know we're talking about the releases for the UK dates, but Valentine's Day, is that going to be a bloody book to read on Valentine's Day? Is it full of romance?
No.
Maybe
maybe book 2 will surprise me.
Well, maybe. We shall see.
Maybe.
And the next one is A Day of Fallen Night, which is coming out February the 28th. And this is the sequel by Samantha Shannon to Priory of the Orange Tree. Lovely covers, big, huge books that probably, if you balance on your head, you'd probably get chronic neck pain within a few minutes, I reckon.
These are weapons.
Yeah, weapons of mass destruction, depending on who's wielding them, of course.
Depending.
But I'm really looking forward to having them on the bookshelf, I'm sure. Because
yeah,
I'm addicted to buying books, whether I read it or not. Who knows? But they've got dragons on, so I'm going to.
And I'm going to buy the Broken Binding special editions, which look amazing.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. So there you go. So that's that one. I've not read the Priory Orange Tree, neither of you, but we both intend to, don't we?
And the next one is going to be The Sword Defiant, which comes out May the 2nd. This is by Gareth Ryder Hanrahan. And this is, I mean, I haven't read the Gutter Prayer series, but I've been meaning to. But as soon as I saw the cover for the book Defiant, I thought, is this potential for cover of the year for 2023?
It is a great
it hit me
cover.
in. I love the colours. I love the sword in it. I love the character pose as well. They're not actually looking at the forefront. Fantastic design again. And Gareth Ryder Hanrahan is someone I've been really looking forward to checking out. So I think this might be my first book that I read by him, definitely. But I think there's going to be a few wonderful covers coming up on this list as well.
Yes. There really is. It's going to be great for covers. And as we said earlier, there's probably a lot we've not even seen yet. And some covers haven't been shown, and so on and so forth. Next up, we have The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence.
That hasn't been shown yet. The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence, coming out on May the 9th. So May the 9th be with you guys. It doesn't go like that, does it?
It doesn't go like that. May the 4th.
Could, though. Oh,
It doesn't
well,
really work with any other day, does it?
no, it doesn't.
May the February the 2nd.
May, why wouldn't you May that?
Yeah.
But this is another Mark Lawrence book, which we're obviously really excited to. I'm currently binging my way through Mark Lawrence's worlds that he has created, and I mean, you're reading them in kind of a very, should we say, fluid manner. You're not too,
I'm not constrained.
not constrained. There you go. So you don't mind what order you read them in.
I don't know, but just to clarify, I'm not starting in the middle of a series.
No,
I'll just read book 3, then
But
book
you're
1,
starting
then
on
book 2.
the middle series.
Well, it was in a new world, so I thought good place to start. I've
Good
read
world.
everything in there, so I've read 3, 5, 8 books by Mark Lawrence. How many have you read?
6.
6. Wow, we are big Mark
Currently
Lawrence fans.
reading 7.
We need to talk about. We need some more Mark Lawrence dedicated videos on the
Yes,
channel,
we
don't
do.
we?
We will do.
Definitely.
And hopefully that will be a book that, hopefully, fingers crossed, if Mark Lawrence is listening, we could get advanced copies and then we could review
Fingers
it on
crossed.
the channel. That'd be awesome. But the premise sounds fantastic. The book that wouldn't burn. And I'm sure the cover is going to be as wonderful as all of his other books, because Mark Lawrence always has
Delivers.
some phenomenal covers.
And he's
the
got
best
amazing prose.
postman, isn't he?
The best postman.
Yeah.
I do like that one.
Thank you.
And next up we have Empire by Con Iggulden, the second instalment in his new duology. It may be a trilogy by the end. And so this is the sequel to Lion, which is set in ancient Greece.
Is it about Pericles?
It is.
Following
It is indeed.
Athens,
Yes, it is.
etc.
So he's got another ancient Greek duology where Pericles is a child and you see him in one scene. And so it's not really one series, but it would be great to read the first 2, then these. But you can just read Lion first and you're not missing out at all. But if you just want the full scope of the Greco-Persian Wars and the state of the relationships between the Greek states, definitely read the first 2. Gates of Athens
It's a
is
great
in
way
my
he's
top
doing
10 favourite
it.
books.
I think it's a really
all
good way
time.
of doing it in those duologies, because people aren't getting, oh, you're not thinking I'm going to read a 10-book
Yeah.
series, but really he could string along quite a few duologies,
Mhm.
couldn't he? All set in the same time period, all set in the same
Exactly.
places.
And there's quite a lot of series that they say that they're separate, but they're not really, are they? Like Age of Madness, I guess you could read it without the originals.
Why would
but,
you
but
read
so
it
many
separately?
of the
Yeah.
best moments are references to what happened before,
Yeah.
about seeing how history's been twisted
Yeah.
already. So yeah. But this is actually a separate series. Pericles just
So
appears in
Conor
one
Goodin's
scene.
telling the truth, is what you're
He
trying
is
to
telling
tell
the
us.
truth.
He is the truth. And the
He
next
is
one
the
is The
truth.
Traitor, coming out July the 11th. If you've been watching the channel recently, Will and I said that we're definitely going to be reading The Covenant of Steel next year, because The Traitor is coming out. So that is book 3, isn't it? We've got the Pariah, the Martyr, the Traitor. This is also potentially cover of the year. As soon as I saw this, I was like, this is absolutely phenomenal.
It's awesome.
The action set piece there looks
Orbit and their
breathtaking.
covers are
Orbit's
brilliant.
covers are always awesome.
Papa Gwynne's.
There
We
we
talked
go.
about Tyranny of Faith already by Richard Swan,
Exactly.
and now The Traitor.
100%. So I'm really looking forward to reading that. Anthony Ryan's a great author. So yeah, even more excited than I was when I saw this cover.
And next up we have The Judas Blossom, which comes out on July the 11th, and this is by Stephen Orion, and this is the beginning of a new epic historical fantasy series.
Yes, it
And
is.
we actually did a little video announcing the cover and the premise and what the series is going to be about, which thank you again to Angry Robot Books and Stephen Orion for allowing us to do that. So if you want a full synopsis about what this is about,
Go check out the video.
head over to that. It's
100%.
quite short. Won't take up too much of your time.
And it is kind of Mongolian-inspired historical fantasy, isn't it? So that's really exciting for us. Was it Persian? It's Persian, isn't it? Did I say Mongolian? Is it Mongolian?
No, I think it is the Mongolian Empire.
I'm going to have to watch our video again.
Yeah,
now.
I think it is the Mongolian Empire, but done in Persia.
There's another book coming out next year about Mongolian Empire. Or is that one?
I think, no, there is the Mongolian Empire, I believe.
Maybe
Because I made a reference to...
It's both. Of
Yeah,
course it's both.
Because
both.
it's in Persia.
So I was correct, and you were correct, and we were both correct.
A win-win-win.
For once, we agree. My man. And the next one for us to read is Lightbringer, Pierce Brown. This is a big year for Pierce Brown fans, because book 7 of the Red Rising no longer trilogy series is coming out, and that's really exciting for us because Lightbringer is
a great name,
hotly anticipated, isn't
yes.
it? And
Mike's,
it's a great name.
Mike's Book Reviews is
doing a
hosting
reading along as of
Yes.
January, so I will definitely be rereading the Red Rising trilogy and then reading the next
And same
trilogy.
here.
And same here. So we will be covering that on the channel. Hop onto Mike's Discord as well, so you can join in with the read along.
Very nice. Next up, we have He Who Drowned the World by Shelley Parker Chan. This is set to be released on August the 22nd of 2023. Oh, see, that would have been nice in 2022, wouldn't it? The 22nd of 2022. But anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing it in 2023. This is a sequel to She Who Became the Sun, and we really enjoyed that. We did a review for it on the channel, didn't we? It was one of our first reviews.
And also,
that
that is another beautiful cover. I think the American cover of that is one of my favourite fantasy, or just favourite covers, full stop. And He Who Drowned the World is a fantastic name, and I think it's going to be absolutely amazing, because we really, really loved She Who Became the Sun. Such a good concept as well as the writing from Shelley Parker-Chan was so immersive and full of character development. So we're really looking forward to this. Is it a duology or is it a trilogy?
I have no idea, I'm afraid.
I'm not too sure, but we will read it, whether it even it's the next one more book or there's another 10. Because
we will definitely be
awesome.
reading this one. There we go.
And coming out on my birthday, September the 14th, one of the best days of the year, is Play of Shadows by Sebastian de Castel. So thank you, Sebastian, for what a wonderful present you're giving us. We've been waiting for the new Greatcoats releases for quite a while, haven't we? And they've been changing around in order. So hopefully this is the final order, and Play of Shadows is going to be the first book in that series. Sebastian de Castel is a fantastic writer. If you haven't checked out the Greatcoats, go check it out, because it has the best camaraderie I think I've read in any book. It is also...
It's a bromance.
Could be the funniest book I've read, actually. Definitely up there. Funniest series, anyway. And there are very dark moments, but the bromance between the three main characters is unsurpassed.
It's witty, isn't it?
It's very witty. And you will be laughing as well as crying by the end, I reckon, because it is a very emotional series as well. And another book coming out on my birthday is going to be The Words of Kings and Prophets by
you're going to be spoiled.
Shauna Lawless, which is that historical fantasy Viking Age island, which is obviously right up our street. Because
I will be reading that on release day, or hopefully before, if we can get an
fingers crossed before, and we would love to do another review of it. We recently had Shauna Lawless on our channel talking about her debut release this year. And he said She Became the Sun then.
The Children of Gods and Fighting Men.
Well, it was so much fun to have her on the channel, because we remember when we just spoke to her a few times on Twitter, and she was saying that she would like to be a writer and all that kind of stuff, and said that she had started her own projects. So how humbling for us as well to have someone like that on the channel. So it's awesome.
And we absolutely love it.
And the title as well is fantastic, as is the cover. I really like it as well. They're really, really good styles as well, because you can... It feels like historical fiction when you look at that book, but it's also got a
fantastical element,
sprinkling a dashing of fantasy, which we
absolutely love. Next up, we have The Temple of Fortuna by Elodie Harper. This is the third and final instalment of the Wolf Den trilogy. This has been so highly anticipated. I delayed reading book 2 of this series so that it's not going to be too far away from book 3. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. But book 1, The Wolf Den, is one of my favourite books of all time, and I spread the love to you, didn't I, Ed? I said you must read this.
Shared the load.
Shared the load.
And as the willing brother I am, I decided to read The Wolf Den and book 2, The House with the Golden Door, and House of the Golden Door.
So, did you like The Wolf Den?
Loved The Wolf Den. 5 stars for me.
And then, so just there. Where's The House of the Golden Door? Crikey.
Even better. Whoa, Will, don't swear. You have to tell YouTube that you've sworn on the video now.
Oh, no. Yeah, definitely. So was that 7.5 stars out of 5? Or
7.9.
Okay.
Yeah, out of 5. But yeah, The Temple of Fortuna is going to be fantastic. Look at the covers as well next to each other. They look absolutely beautiful.
Historical fiction set in Pompeii, and you've got a great cast of characters, none who are too simplified. They all get their own moment, their own depth to character as well. We see the reasons which shape who they are, whether we hate them or love them, or mostly somewhere in between.
And obviously Pompeii's famous for that, the natural disaster of the volcano, spoiler alert. But obviously, reading this series, you have like a different threat at the end, because you feel like that's coming. So that's very different as well, rather than it's like the White Walkers, but volcanic ash and
historical
fire and real.
We know how.
And now the next few releases that we're going to be talking about are ones that we hope to be released next year, that have been said to apparently being released, but there is no official release date. So obviously we're going to have the Winds of Winter on there by George R.R. Martin, because he said, he keeps saying all sorts, doesn't he?
Yeah,
so fingers crossed.
This is more like, if we can put it on here, it's hopeful.
Yeah, it's hopeful. So please,
but not likely.
And it might be released on, New Year's Eve 2023. So,
it may not.
It's got a long time. Or it may be released in the future. But Winds of Winter by George R. R. Martin is, what book is that of? Song of Ice and Fire. Is that 7? 6? Well, they're all trimmed in half, aren't they?
Because I think there's going to be 7 books in the series. I think adaptations, 7 and 8 would be one book.
I
think.
Okay, interesting.
So because I heard people say he's got 2 books left.
Yeah. So you're currently doing a read along, aren't you, of A Song of Ice and Fire? You're doing 1 book a month at the moment.
Yes.
So hopefully,
I think after I finish
year.
Storm of Swords, I might leave it another month or so, and not because because I'm absolutely loving it, but just so
big books,
that because they're very big books, and there's other things I want to read as well. And I've read since September, I've read book 1 of Game of Thrones, book 2, of course, Clash of Kings. I've read Fire and Blood, the prequel, and then I've read A Storm of Swords. I think I might leave it a month, then read A Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
I think if you carry on like this, you might turn into George R. R. Martin.
I might turn into George.
Yeah, he wears some cool braces. To be fair,
maybe I could finish.
He's got style, and maybe you can finish it. And the next one, which we're really hoping for, probably could be your most hotly anticipated release probably of all time.
Which one's this?
Lord of Demons by Evan Winter, book 3 of The Burning. Evan Winter is a fantastic writer. He's written The Fires of Vengeance, which is book 2, and also, of course, The Rage of Dragons, which is book
of the
1
Burning.
of The Burning.
That's a weird way to do it.
And Tau is basically Matt Gwynne, but angrier, I would say. If you like,
he
Matt
is a
from
force
the
of nature.
He is a force of nature.
But it's brilliant how he's driven by this quest for vengeance, and it really takes over and takes over everything to do with his life, and really strips away what is really important, which is people being happy, having fun, keeping those you love alive, and it's kind of taking over that. But it's very interesting that it's done in a way where at times you're like, oh no, Tal, don't do that, but it's so believable, and it's not frustrating in the sense where I want to put it down. It's frustrating in the sense I have to read until hopefully he rectifies.
Yeah, there's not much fun in The Burning, but it's so much fun.
And it is riveting. It's so fast paced. You're just taken on a roller coaster of an emotional journey when you pick these up. And
another book that could even be biggest fantasy release of the year is possibly Empire of the Vampire, book 2 by the awesome Jay Kristoff. We love Jay Kristoff over here, and I think we're really excited to read Empire of the Vampire number 2, because number 1 was probably the most iconic book I've ever read, and it was the most quotable, one of the funniest, one of the most immersive, and one of the most, even though it was about vampires and it had lots of great references, it was one of the most unique as well. And I think Jay Kristoff is one of my favourite writers.
Got very distinctive style.
I'm going to be reading so much more Kristoff next year, which is really exciting for me. But hopefully Empire of the Vampire book 2 will be released next year.
Is somewhere there.
Nevernight's around, and Storm Dancer as well, and all sorts. And the next one as well is going to be historical fiction this time, and this is by Dan Jones. And Dan Jones released Essex Dogs this year. We were lucky enough to read it in advance and review it here on the channel, which was really exciting. So hopefully book 2 shall be coming out next year, which will be really exciting. It is about the campaign of Crécy, which is the English invading France during 1346. And it was a great year for the English. Not a good year for the French, like this year, losing the World
what's
Cup.
Great about the Essex Dogs is that it shows that it wasn't actually great for the English either, was it? Maybe great for a few at the top.
True.
But it's really just disillusioning the aspects of war, which are so commonly romanticised.
Yes, so Dan Jones really tackled he's kind of an anti-war book, really, isn't it?
But it's a grander scope as well, which I absolutely love. It's showing the gruelling marches, the scouting, the occupying each village, even if they're abandoned, checking for threats. Loads of things that the soldiers are finding very boring and dull, and they're not really reaping the profits.
Yeah.
Whereas they're there to live, basically. They only survive through getting money through fighting. And so they're not there to have fun or because they believe in the patriotism of the country. There's a few knights in there who are thinking of all this glory, but everyone else around them is just shaking their heads at them and loathes them. But it's great balance, and I love how you've got the heart of the story with the group of warriors, but then showing how terrible war is at the same time and how everyone's dying.
It's bad, guys. Why do we like reading about it so much?
I know.
Probably because it's so bad. So like a horrifying car crash, you just sometimes
can't look away from.
Yeah, exactly. And the next one, the last one for us for this video, is The Doors of Stone by Lee Patrick Rothfuss, which is book 3
definitely coming out.
The Name of the Wind trilogy. Hey, this is hopeful.
Oh, yeah, hopeful.
It's possibility.
Yeah,
it's in the realm of possibility.
In the realm of possibility.
I to be honest, I haven't kept up to date with all the Patrick Rothfuss stuff that's been going on. People been, saying that I think about his Kickstarter and all sorts like that. But
I'm not sure what's been going on.
I don't know. To be honest, I've tried not to look into it too much. But Doors of Stone is a possibility to be released next year, and if it is released, I will be reading it, because I remember reading The Name of the Wind and The Wise Man's Fear when I was very young, time ago.
You met him, didn't you?
I did meet him. I was very nervous. That was probably the author I was most nervous to meet at that time. That was like the I was really excited.
You were really excited. What did you say to
yeah.
him?
And I was like, can't wait to read Doors of Stone next year. And he was like, but yeah, and I think the only other thing I said to him was like that, and that's how nervous I was.
So you asked
I went to go and see Neil Gaiman in the queue, but the queue was probably as long as Brighton is wide, so really long. But yeah, that is the last book. Hopefully, be released next year. But there are so many more. We are sure that we've missed. These are just ones that jumped out to us. Please let us know in the comments below what books do you think will be released next year? Are you hopeful for? What ones have caught your eye? What should we put on our to be read mountain for 2023? Because I mean, we need more, don't we?
We do need more.
We haven't got enough. Said
Exactly.
no one ever.
The more books, the better.
Yes, you can never have too many books.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Let us know what books that you're looking forward to next year. Well, there's some of these, and please do let us know some others that we've missed out on. If there's quite a few that we've forgotten or left out, then we may do a part 2.
Yeah,
exactly.
So let us know if you want to see a part 2. Let us know. But obviously, we've run out of books, so just please let us know in the comments below. Truth and courage. Stay safe, everyone. The Brothers Gwynne.
The Brothers Gwynne.